true. Okay, let's settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. And just feel the sensation of the soles of the feet on the floor, the weight of your legs in your chair, and also the weight of your pelvis in the chair. And just release your pelvis and your sit bones into the surface that you're sitting on. And then you'll feel the sensation of your hands in your lap. Got to get off here. I want to see everybody's face. And then align your shoulders with your hips so that as soon as you do that, you're going to probably sit up a little bit straighter. And then align your ears with your shoulders. So this is just to stop our heads from falling forward and pulling us out of alignment. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light, and it's stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So just imagine you're lengthening your spine, and just putting some space in between the vertebrae. And then go to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp. Release any tension there, relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, and the area around the mouth. And just relax the back of the tongue, the jaw and your temples and the back of the head. And just release any tension in the back of the neck. Just put some length in there and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Be aware of any sounds and potential distractions in your environment. So in your immediate environment and also outside. Just allow any sound that might be kind of coming to your mind, just allow it all to be there, trying not to follow with your mind all the sounds, the smells, the distractions floating across the screen. And then just check in with your mind this evening, just see how you're doing. Just notice the thoughts as they arise and abide, and then maybe just kind of dissolve a little bit. So trying not to engage with the stories. And then they come, some of our stories are fantasy. So we start to engage in them, we start to elaborate, and then all of a sudden we find we're believing in what it is we're thinking and doesn't really have any basis in fact. And then we start getting all emotional about it. So it's just almost like we're harming ourselves with all this kind of thinking. But then also try not to judge what's going on in your mind. Just allow it to be there. Take a step back. If you don't kind of continually engage with all this kind of, thoughts that really don't particularly serve you, then they will eventually atrophy those habitual thinking patterns. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers, the ones you don't like very much. And just remember that due to impermanence, these relationships are interchangeable and they're all equal, and that they want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so then we have this little section on developing compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently, and maybe people you've harmed in the past. And then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them, sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samayam manupalaya vajrasapa dina petita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina petita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum. Okay. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mebiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mebiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriam guru hum ha ha ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Jida meboa, Zitukaya meboa, Zipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mebiyatsa sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe. Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Zipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Stawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum. Okay. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's in a similar way to walking into a dark room and flicking on a switch. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and instantaneously all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness and grudges, disappointments and jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida meboa, Situkaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Padita Dina meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum. Okay. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And now think that there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now we purify even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And so imagine Vajrasattva very happily again sends light and nectar together. So you imagine the nectar pushes down all the negativity of the body, and then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and blasts all of the delusions. And in this way, and we're reciting the mantra at the same time, it's all happening at the same time. And we eradicate even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mepi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Om Vajrasappa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ah hum pe. Vajrasappa samayam manupalaya, vajrasappa dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta ah hum pe. Vajrasappa samayam manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seta Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Seta Ah Hum Pe Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta ah hum pe vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta ah hum pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya seta ah hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind again. Well, again is probably a little bit ambitious, but maybe just have an aspiration to refrain from harming. And so without this, we just keep doing the same old things over and over again. We have these habit energies. We just keep repeating ourselves. And there's also this kind of repetition from karma. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So remember, Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to always talk about everything being existing on the tip of the wishes. Talks about aspiration. So just aspire to want to refrain from harming. And then we have this plan. We put a plan in place. So we've made a decision. And then we think of something that we'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. So now imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind. and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. The next Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to recommend to meditate on emptiness. So he would say, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. All right, let's chant the names of Manjushri. Where are we? Upon the edge of cyclic life's far shore, with deeds accomplished resting on the bank, emerging from untainted lone awareness with sword-like insight ever penetrating. The Son, the Dharma King, the noble Dharma, supreme illuminator of the world, the Dharma Lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, the teacher of the path to excellence. Accomplishing all goals, fulfilling aims, completely free from wants of any kind, bereft of thought, a non-depleting source. Where are we? Go down, go the other direction. The Dharma source, supreme beyond decay. All right, everyone. Let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for a swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to live long.